We are back with another video, man. Today we will be discussing the Bleacher Report top 100 list that they dropped. I know I'm a bit late, you know what I'm saying? I try not to give these things too much attention because, quite frankly, they don't know what the hell they're talking about. But we are here. Just going to scroll through. I'm not going to spend too much time on any one particular until we get lower down the list, you know what I'm saying? But to spend too much time on like 100 through, 80 is whatever. You know what I'm saying? 100, they have Artist Gilmore, sure. Dave Bing, I'm so sure. Clay, Bernard, Joe, I'm not mad at it. Joe being better than Bernard King is interesting. Dave, because we all know who that is. They don't even have a picture of this brother playing basketball. That's how old he is. Tatum at 93. That's too low. I'm not gonna lie. This is low. This is low. I'm sure we're gonna run into some names that Jason Tatum is better than. And it didn't take long. Lenny Wilkins. He's better than Lenny. See, he's better than Chauncey. Arguable. Chris Webber could hoop. Chris Webber was a hooper. Not gonna lie. He's better than Earl Monroe. Just better than Draymond Green, who I knew would end up on this list. And one day we're gonna make a real video about Draymond Green and how massively overrated he is. But I digress. Alonzo Mourning, he's better than Tony Parker. He's better than Sam Jones. He's better than Adrian Dantley. However, if you have not gone and looked at Adrian Dantley's numbers, please do. Please do. Adrian Dantley was a bucket. We just did not too long ago. Jimmy Butler. Tatum better than Jimmy Butler? I'm going to say yes, but not by a wide margin. But I'm going to say yes. In a playoff setting, I probably would rather have Jimmy on my team, but just overall, Tatum, I got Tatum. Bob Lanier, sure. Dikembe Mutombo is not better than Jason Tatum. Dikembe may not be better than Draymond Green, actually. Nate Tiny Archibald is not better than Jason. Grant Hill? Look, don't get me wrong. Grant Hill was on his way. You know what I'm saying? Grant Hill was on his way. Grant Hill was a really, really good player. Really, really good player. Don't get me wrong. Don't get me wrong. Really good player. Better than Jason Tatum? Overall, especially if you're like factoring in career, accomplished, 5-time All NBA though, 7-time All Star Rookie of the Year. I mean, he got some. He racked them up when he was going. He racked up some accolades. I'm not gonna lie. But Tatum has the first team All NBAs. He has the championship. I'm going JT over Grant Hill, respectfully. For a career, I don't have Jason Tatum better than Paul George yet, though. I know some people disagree with me on that. I do think he will pass him. I'm just saying, as of right now, I don't. As of right now. But he will eventually pass. Pistol Pete, man. Pistol Pete is really living off aura. Like, my word. I mean, I do get he was a fantastic player. Don't get me wrong. But those Jazz teams are usually pretty bad. Yeah, he turned the ball over. Like, he's low key like the best equivalent. He's like the Kyrie of his time. Like he was just a wizard with the basketball, basically. Put up some really good scoring numbers on some decent efficiency. Like I do think Kyrie's a better version, but he also has to get credit for the innovation. So I understand it. What's up, Uchiha? I understand it. I get it. I get it. I would have Tatum ranked over him though, but he would make my list. Alex English, a very underrated player, led the 80s in scoring as far as total points, on 51% from the field, basically. It's funny though. Led that decade in scoring, but one scoring title. That means he wasn't ever like all but one time. He was never the best score in that particular season, but kept up a model of consistency throughout that decade. You know what I'm saying? Shout out to him. We got Manu Ginobili. This is one of my favorite players. I say this over and over again. Growing up as a Laker fan, when we played the Spurs, to me, Manu was their best player. I know, I know, I know. I know, I get it. I got it. The person that I was most afraid of when we played the Spurs was Manu. Especially come fourth quarter time too. It seemed like Manu didn't miss. And he could pass. And he could get to the hole. And he had the Euro. He could punch them up on you too. He had the three ball, was cold in pick and roll, bro. Manu was a good player. Manu to me was he could have been the James Harden, like broken away from the original really good team as the six man and went. I think Manu on his own team could have been easily a 23, 24, like 6, 7 guy. 24, 6, and 7. Easily if he had his own team. Easily. But he sacrificed to win. Shout out to him. He got the championships, sacrificed the personal accolades. But really good player. Really good player, man. Dave Cowens, yeah. So yeah. Hal Greer. Actually, shout out to the Hoops Talk podcast. We were ranking our shooting guards. I had Hal Greer at 10. I just threw him a shout. You know what I'm saying? I threw him a shout. I knew he wouldn't make the list, but I threw him a shout. Good player. Won a championship. I believe was that with Wilt? Did he win that chip with Wilt? Or am I tripping? Yeah. Okay. Yeah. With Wilt. Yeah. Cool player. Cool player. So, they don't have a picture of him playing. Chris Bosh at 71. Did Chris Bosh make the NBA top 75? He did. I'm not mad at. I don't remember. I'm not mad if he did. Yeah, Tatum is better than Chris Bosh, though. I do agree. Tatum actually is better than a lot of the names that we've been passing up, by the way. I know we stopped doing it for a career, even though my hypothetical Manu Ginobili is better than Tatum. The actual one that we got, due to his role on this team, Tatum is better than him as well. Tatum is better than Alex English. Tatum is better than P, not better than PG, better than Grant. Yeah, a lot of the names Tatum should be probably in the 60s, probably if we keep going. Let's see. He's better than Wes Unseld. Yeah, he's better than this guy as well. Rebounding machine Wes Unseld, but I mean, he's better than Kyrie. Yeah, he should be a lot lower on this list, actually. Shout out to Kyrie though at 69, man. Kyrie is also one of my favorite players of all time. The most skilled player ever, in my opinion. I think his peak in prime gets undervalued because when he got to be the one on his own team, he started dealing with injury. But I do remember, like, people be sleep. That 2017, 2018 team, when he first got over there, before he got hurt, they were the number one team in the East and they were on like a 16-game winning streak. Kyrie was over there hooping and leading a team to the number one seed in the conference. I'm just saying. So I think Kyrie definitely could have been a one on a playoff team for sure. I don't even think that's really a question. I mean, technically he was, but the people say, "Oh, he got hurt," it isn't it? But Kyrie's an amazing basketball player. Me personally, I also think he's better than like Dame. We were just discussing this on the panel a little bit. I have him better than Dame personally. I think his game translates better in playoff situations for the most part. He has the mid-range game, the in-between game, which Dame kind of lacks. Dame is either three or all the way to the cup, and then Kyrie's a better finisher than Dame as well. So yeah, shout out to Kyrie Irving, man. Amazing basketball player. To do his skill, his offensive, especially like scoring skill set at 6'3" is incredible, man. The man can post up. He can finish amongst the trees. He's an incredible basketball player. Also, just tidbit: Kyrie Irving is the player I've seen most live. Kyrie Irving has gotten the most money out of me as far as I gotta go see this player play in real life. It's Kyrie. Moving on. Robert Parrish. Shout out to Robert, part of them super team Celtic teams that Larry Bird gets all the credit for whatever reason, and doesn't get penalized like some others. Jason Tatum is better than Robert Parrish though, and he's better than Kyrie. I think I said that, but he's better than Dennis Rodman for sure. Yeah, 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 yeah. Shout out Dennis Rodman. I've met Dennis Rodman in real life. I've shared that story. I'm not going to share it here on this YouTube video. If you want to get the exclusives, make sure you check that description. Hit that link to my playback room. At the playback room, I'm telling you, it's always a good time here. Even when we're not recording videos, we are streaming. I'm telling you, it's a good time. Hit that hit that description, hit that link, and yeah, join the room. Yeah, he's better than Dennis Rodman. But shout out to Dennis Rodman, one of the greatest defensive players ever, arguably the greatest rebounder ever, especially in modern day. I mean, to get the rebounds he was getting at like 6'7" is kind of incredible. If you go back back and watch some tape of Dennis Rodman, what really sticks out about him is his motor, bro. Especially if you go to like them Detroit days. His motor is off the charts. He's coming in the game wreaking havoc immediately all over the court. Stamina on 1,000. You want that kind of player on your team every single time, man. Shout out Dennis Rodman. And then transition to the Bulls. This is when he wasn't quite as like quick, but he got stronger. He was able to deal with post players, rebound amongst the trees, obviously. Very good defensive player. He went from kind of being able to guard guards and wings, and then got stronger as he got a little slower to guarding, some wings and but mostly bigs. You know what I'm saying? Honestly, one of the better athletes to ever play in the NBA too. I do think that gets slept on. He's an incredible athlete. Let's see. Joel Embiid at 66. I've always said him and Kawhi are going to be some of the hardest players to rank as far as all time because of the injuries, but he peaked so high. Like I'm sure there are going to be names that we come across and we know Joel Embiid is better than as we go through the rest of this list. But can you put him higher on a greater list? I don't know. But this is one of the greatest centers to ever touch a basketball. And offensively, he may be one of the five best offensive centers to ever touch a basketball. I think I can say that pretty comfortably, actually. And at his peak, also was a great defensive player as well. I mean, this was supposed to be really what Joel is supposed to be is like the new generation Hakeem. I mean, that's essentially what he was supposed to be. We didn't get to see him play out again due to injury, but you're talking about a big who has a handle, light on his feet, has great footwork in the post, can shoot, can hit free throws, use his size in the interior and dominate there. I mean, offensively, really, as far as scoring, really no flaws. And the parallel to Hakeem is also, not the best of passers. But as far as the skill set, man, we have not seen too many better at the center position. He's better than Vince Carter. You see what I'm saying? Like he's better than Vince Carter. This is no. He's better than Dame. Like he's better than Damian Lillard. Yeah. Better than Damian Lillard. James Worthy. Very slept on player. Joel's better, but let's talk about James very quickly. James Worthy was the second best player on a few of them Laker teams that made it to the finals. That's all I'm gonna say for right now. I'm gonna be quiet, but I'm gonna be quiet. Pau Gasol at 62. Shout out to Pau, man. I'm a Laker fan. He helped Kobe get the next two that we needed. One of the most skilled bigs I've ever seen in my lifetime. As far as this pure skill set, he had turnarounds over both shoulders. He can do the pick and pop game. He could hit 16 to 18-foot jump shots. He had hooks over both shoulders with both hands. With both hands. He could pass, defend the rim a little bit. But I mean, it's not really nothing he could do on the basketball court for a big man. I'm not gonna he was a complete basketball player for a 4-5. Complete. Lacked a bit of aggression from time to time, but outside of that, amazing basketball player. Bob McAdoo, one of the OG stretch bigs, man. One of the OG stretch bigs. Shout out to him. Melo, one of the greatest scorers of his generation, one of the greatest scorers of all time. Led playoff team after playoff team. Now didn't find much success in the playoffs. But if Melo was the best player on your team for a stretch, I mean, probably, man, you're gonna make the playoffs. You know what I'm saying? In either conference too, by the way. So I don't think he's better than Embiid, but I'm not mad at Melo being over Embiid as far as like greatest list. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. Shout out to Melo, man. Tracy McGrady, this is too high. And see, to me, this doesn't make sense because he doesn't have like longevity for real. And then he didn't peak higher than Embiid either. So like how does Tracy get to 59 on here? I don't really understand that. Tracy was basically from '01 to like '05, basically. Yeah. So I don't. That's not making sense to me. If Tracy's this high, then Joel should for sure be higher up on this list. Willis Reed, great rebounder. Luka the Don at 57. Five-time All NBA, five-time All Star Rookie of the Year, one scoring title. I also want to make just let you know these five-time All NBAs are all first team, baby. They're all first team, baby. Getting first teams over Steph consistently. First team over Lillard consistently. First teams over Shea. Shea wasn't even in these convos 20 months ago. Wasn't even in these conversations. Now all of a sudden Shea just clears. I'm so sure. I'm so sure. Yeah. Not much to be said here. Luka the Don, one of the greatest to ever touch a basketball, one of the greatest ever grace a basketball court. Quite frankly, in my opinion, y'all finna be mad at me. Luka's the greatest heliocentric offensive player ever. Let's keep going. Let's keep going. Dolph, yeah, I'm so sure he's better than Luka. I'm so sure. 38% from the field, brother. Bill Walton be living off them 2-3 years more than anybody I've ever seen in my life. Oh yeah, R.I.P. to Bill Walton. I forgot he did that. All right, yeah, let's continue. Reggie Miller. Now, I will say this. Again, we just recently did a shooting guard list on the Hoops Talk podcast. I did not know some things that Hoop Venue pointed out about Reggie Miller. We're talking about an elite playoff scorer. Like I knew he was a great playoff like player, but it's actually kind of crazy. It's like I think they said like he had like a 6 year stretch where he said KD with the Warriors in the playoffs was like 29 this was per 75, 29 on like plus 8-9 relative true shooting or something like that. And Reggie Miller for like I don't want to let me see if I can pull it up because I don't want to be inaccurate. Reggie Miller for if you look at this, I mean, 27, 31, 23, 25, 29. Was it this stretch? He said for like a 4 or 5 year stretch, he was 29 on plus 10 and a half relative true shooting. That's, you get credit for that. Okay. I can't even, you get credit for that. You get credit. One of the greatest playoff risers that we've ever seen. He just played a lot of years too. 15 years. And you can argue, I mean, wasn't really trash in none of 'em. I mean, in what in let me see. Yeah, I mean, he's a really good to all NBA level player for like 13 years. So shout out to Reggie Miller, man. To me, still a little bit high on this list. I see that if they're not going to factor in like the longevity because Tracy McGrady is really high on this list. I would have Joel Embiid over him. But I don't want to understate Reggie Miller. Reggie Miller was really good. Really good player. Gary Payton at 53. I get it. I get it. One of the greatest point guards ever. One of the greatest defensive guards of all time. Led a team to the finals. Some of his offensive peak years also get slept on because he's known as a defensive player. But I mean, some peak Gary Payton years, he's like at 24 and 10. Like he's on those Seattle Sonics, excuse me. Yeah, in 98, 90, no, excuse me. 99, 2000, he was 24 and 9. He has another year of 22 and 9, basically 19 and 8, 22 and 7. Yeah, very, very good offensive player. Had a post game for a point guard that was important. Can run a few pick and roll actions. Solid passer as well. Is he over PG? To me, probably not. I would probably have him over Reggie Miller though. I would have him over Bill Walton. I would have him over Dolph. I don't know if I would have him over Luca. But I mean, I'm saying like 53 to me is not a terrible spot for Gary Payton. You know what I'm saying? We could disagree with some of the other names that are above him and argue that they should be below him, but I'm not mad at like Gary Payton around 53. It's decent for him. Dwight Howard at 52, one of the greatest defensive players, ever during his peak. Three-time player of the year, two-time block champ, led a team to the finals in '09, beat that Cavs team led by LeBron James in '09. That was a big shocker to everybody. Developed a little bit as an offensive player. One of the greatest role threats ever and one of the greatest vertical spacers ever. That whole Orlando offense was basically contingent of Dwight Howard roll gravity. Like dead ass. Pick and roll with Dwight. Defense has to collapse. We have shooters around him. So if your weak side is cheating over to stop the lob, our guard or the forward, because Hito Tarkalu ran a lot of pick and roll with them also, can make that skip over to the corner and there's gonna be a 40% shooter in the corner. So, and I'm pretty sure Orlando had a really good offense that year they got to the finals, if I'm not mistaken. Let me see. Let's see here, guys. They were 11th in offense, just outside the top 10, and number one defense, and had the fourth best net rating. Number one defense was due to Dwight Howard, and again, basically was the reason for being a borderline top 10 offense as well. So, very impactful player during his peak. And then even as we saw him falling off physically, he was still all NBA caliber player. Like those years in Houston, he wasn't peak Dwight anymore, but he was still really good. That year in LA, he was still really good. Very good player, man. Very good player. Ray Allen at 51. Would I have Ray Allen over Dwight Howard in all time? Probably not, actually. No, I would. But Ray Allen, very, very, very good player to me. Y'all know how I always say I think there are like steps to certain players, and Ray Allen was a step, in my opinion, to a Steph Curry because I think Ray Allen was the next step from a Reggie Miller, right? So obviously one of the greatest movement shooters of all time, but Ray Allen was the evolution of a Reggie Miller because Ray Allen could play with the ball too. Ray Allen can run pick and roll. He could pull up, shoot. He can make a few passes. He can get to the rim. He had an off the dribble game that Reggie Miller did not possess. So to me, he was like the evolution of that. And then Steph Curry obviously took that and times it by 15, But shout out to Ray Allen, one of the greatest shooters ever. Dominique Wilkins at 50. I would have Tatum over him. And personally, I think Paul George is better than him. I don't know if that's a hot take, but I would have Tatum over Dominique Wilkins and Paul George. Yeah, yeah. Yes, it is. Derek, yes, it is. Yes, it is. 49, Paul Pierce. Paul Pierce was a really good player. I'm starting to think, well, just because of the conversations I have with a few people nowadays, he's definitely getting a little bit overrated. I would say Paul George is a better player than him. Tatum is a better player than him. Damn it, I might even also have Tracy McGrady better than him. I may have Kyrie better. Luca, obviously. Like, I'm not saying he doesn't deserve to be on this list. 49 is a bit high. 49 is a bit high in my opinion, but shout out to Paul Pierce, man, one of the best scorers of his time. Could do it at all three levels. Had a post up game. Could come off screens and hit threes as well. Could catch and shoot from three. Could play out a face up. I wasn't mad at him as far as like that checklist scoring thing that everybody got on him a couple of weeks ago about like overall scoring. Like he is, as far as just the skill of checklists, he's up there. Like he could get it a whole bunch of different ways. Pause, but like I don't know. 49 is high. 48 Russ. On a greater list, I would have Russ still higher than Luca right now and Tatum. And I'm actually not mad. Russell Westbrook's. I know he has his moments. I get it. Russell Westbrook is one of the greatest basketball players I've ever seen in my life. I'm gonna just keep it a K. Bro, Russ could do everything, bro. When he was, You talking about somebody and something else that people really sleep on. When Russ wanted to turn it up, bruh, Russ could defend. I'm talking about clamp when he decided he wanted to do that. You know what I'm saying? Not jump. Yeah, that was one of his flaws. Basically, his biggest flaw outside of decision making was just his up and down jump shooting. But before we got to like 2018, 19, even then, I think him as a jump shooter is a bit undersold. I'm not saying he's the greatest jump shooter. Then don't get me wrong, but I mean he had a mini pull up that he could go to pretty reliably. Another guard with a post up game, 6'4", 6'5". In my opinion, the best athlete at the point guard position we've ever seen. One of the greatest transition players we've ever seen. One of the greatest downhill threats we've ever seen. Shout out to Russ, man. Just a stat sheet stuffer. Led the league in scoring, led the league in assists, MVP. Like, yeah, he one of them ones. He's better than Alvin Hayes. Yeah, he's better than Alvin Hayes. Absolutely. He should be higher than Kevin McHale as well. And I'm high on Kevin, but respectfully. My boy Anthony Davis, man. Anthony Davis is one of the most underrated players ever. One of the most underrated and underappreciated players ever. We talking about a guy that, during his peak prime years had a mid-range game, right? Could post you up, could hit a little spot three from time to time, and was just the best defender in the league, bro. Could switch out, guard some wings, protect the rim. He hit his free throws for a big, and he has stretches where he's peaking like top AD performance. Like, do y'all understand how good AD has to be in the playoff in that 2020 run for that to even be a conversation because of how dumb good LeBron was playing in 2020? Like, he has these peaks where it's like, oh wait, he's keeping up with like the best player in the world. There's an argument if he's better than LeBron right now. Like, he has some stretches where he's absolutely dominant. Absolutely dominant. Respect Anthony Davis, please, bruh. 45 may be too low, too. I'm finna see some of these other names. See, he's better than George Mikan. George Mikan, brother. Brother. But respect, Laker legend and all of that stuff. Walt Frazier, he's better than Walt Frazier. Walt Frazier is one of the 10 best point guards ever. Slept on career. All of that. AD's better than him. AD's better than George Gervin as well. One of the greatest scorers to ever do it, though. George Gervin. Shout out to him. Yeah. One of the greatest scorers ever. He's better than Rick Barry. He's better than Rick Barry. Rick Barry was really good though. Great player. He's not. Who is he not better than KB? You're telling me Anthony Davis is not better than Walt Frazier? I'm so sure, brother. I'm so sure. Patrick Ewing at 40. I do think Anthony Davis is better, but I get that, the whole leading your own team thing, I get it. Patrick Ewing also though is one of the greatest defensive players ever during his peak in his prime. So got to give him that credit. Led the Knicks to the playoffs over and over and over and over and over again. Has good longevity to his career. Probably wasn't making some of the All NBAs. We still got 7, but I mean at this time he's playing alongside Hakeem, Shaq. So it's gonna be David Robinson. Yeah, it's gonna be tough for him to collect some first teams, but still made 7 All NBAs, 3 all defensive teams. So shout out to Patrick, man, really good player. I'm not mad at him around this 40-ish range. I'm not mad at it. I would have a few of these guys over him. Well, a few is a stretch probably. Of the last few we read, probably only AD really. So I'm not mad at it. Clyde Drexler at 39. Really good player. That's like the first thing that comes to mind. When I see Clyde, it's like really good player, could do a lot of things well, but nothing particularly great. Really good scorer, cool defender, really good rebounder for his position. Probably a great rebounder. I'll give him that. A great rebounder for his position. What the hell? I don't know why I just want it back up to the top like that. Let me see. Yeah. All right, there we go. Very good athlete. One of the better athletes probably ever. Not probably. He is one of the best athletes at the wing position in the history of the league. Great in transition. I think if he played today, they would use his vertical threat more often. Could shoot a three, especially for his time. Wasn't the greatest ball handler, wasn't the greatest passer, but he was, I mean, typical what you would want your two guard to be, basically. I mean, he was a really good player, man. I mean, just play at the same time as Michael Jordan. So tough. Bob Pettit, I'm so sure. Bob Cousy, I'm so sure. Allen Iverson at 36. This is too high. I'm not gonna lie. He's not better than Anthony Davis, respectfully. He's not better than Russell Westbrook either. I'm not going to continue to list people that we've already passed because then it's going to be deemed as disrespectful. So, but I get it. You know what I'm saying? Allen Iverson, what he did for the league, man. I'll tell you this much: if we're talking about like impact on league, he's top 10. You know what I'm saying? Top 10 ever. Everybody remembers his '01 playoff run, led that team to the finals. One of the better scores of his time. Now he did lack in efficiency, but the volume was definitely there. He low key also for a 6 foot guy, if he was even that, like he racked up a good number of elite years for somebody that small. Also, he was not ass in Denver. See, now you're just lying. He was not ass in Denver. He wasn't. Yeah, also played a lot of minutes. Also a really good I think undersold as a passer as well. I will say that too. Undersold as a passer and a playmaker. Was good at that also. Shout out to him. Steve Nash at 35. I'm trying to think, is this too high? But probably not. Steve Nash is one of the greatest passers of all time. Also, probably one of the five best shooters. If you want to add volume, then 10 best shooters ever. Led some elite offenses throughout his time in Phoenix and Loki in Dallas a little bit as well. Led that Phoenix team to the playoffs consistently, two-time MVP, 04, 05, 05, 06, even though I think he shouldn't have one of those MVPs. But really good play. Was a top five player for like a 4 or 5 year stretch there, which is pretty impressive. Yeah, 35. I would have to see who. I don't know. Is he probably better than AI? Yeah. Like I know he has these two. He probably has like I guess you would qualify like better peak seasons, but for a career, I would still say Anthony Davis is better than him. Me personally, and probably Russ as well. Yeah. 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 Yeah, AD peaked higher as a. I would agree peaked higher as a player. Yes, I would agree as well. What's up, Tyson? Is it? Oh, that's OG Tyson. Yeah, that's Tyson, bruh. I ain't seen Tyson in a minute, bruh. What's up with you, man? James Harden at 34. James Harden is this many spots better than Russell Westbrook? I'm not saying that means James Harden is too. I'm saying that means Westbrook deserves to be further. That's what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying. I'm not saying that James Harden should. 34. I would like to see the 33 names is better than James Harden. We are talking about one of the greatest offensive players in offensive peaks we've ever seen in the league. Once he got to Houston, and D'Antoni got over there. Now people want to give all the credit to D'Antoni, but even with Kevin McHale, I think that first year he averaged like 29. You know what I'm saying? One of the greatest scorers ever. As far as the combination of passing and scoring, LeBron, and then that may be it. I'm not saying people that also pass like Jordan, Kobe, because I'm saying like I think their passing volume is just a lot lower because they didn't necessarily have to have the ball in their hands as much as James Harden, if you get what I'm saying. Jokic, he's climbing up the list. Yeah. Luca, I was thinking about Luca. Yeah. Outside of like, I mean, LeBron, Luca, James, really is just as far as somebody that has the ball 24/7, controlling everything at all times, and still giving you like volume scoring numbers and volume assist numbers. Yeah, he's up there, man. One of the greatest isolation players we've ever seen. That step back three has become a stamp in the league, period. He's the one that did that. Now everybody's shooting side step threes or step back threes. That is because of James Harden, one of the greatest pick and roll players ever. He continues to make bigs look great, better than what they are, because of his partnership and pick and roll situations. Just one of the greatest offensive players ever, quite frankly. I mean, yeah, he's racking up some longevity as well. Still an all NBA caliber player as we speak. You know what I'm saying? Just made it actually last year. So yeah, man. Really, really all time great player, James Harden, man. Shout out to him. See, he's better than Jason Kidd, respectfully. He's better than Jason. AD is better than Jason Kidd as well. But respect to Jason Kidd, one of the greatest guards. Nah, no, yes, he is. Yeah, he is. Nash better too. Arguably. Jason Kidd is one of the best defensive guards of all time. Led some teams to the finals. Obviously, to me, he's one of the top. As far as the skill of passing, he's top three in my opinion. He's one of the absolute best passers I've ever seen in my life. Yeah, very good rebounder as well. Obviously, he didn't give you the scoring efficiency and volume that you're looking for, but he made up for that with how he played, as far as the pace that he played with, how much better he made his teammates. And although he did score the ball a whole bunch, he always continued to get into the paint and the teeth of the defense, which still made his passing and playmaking very viable offensively. Another guard also that could post up. That's something I'm seeing a trend in this as well, as far as these guards that make these all time lists. All of them have a post up game. I'm saying like point. Well, most of them. Let me not say because Steve Nash, obviously, but most of these guards we've run into on this list had a post up game. That's just interesting to me. One of the best floor generals ever, and then again, his defense on and off the ball was elite, and then he helped the Dallas Mavericks in 2011 defeat that Heat team and won a championship. So shout out to Jason Kidd. I'm not saying he's not an all-time great player. However, I don't think he's better than James Harden or Anthony Davis. Kawhi Leonard at 32. I'm not. He's probably 30ish for me. He's probably 30ish. I also said earlier in the video, I said Joel Embiid and Kawhi are going to be two of the hardest players to rank as far as all time lists, because the peaks are so high, but the longevity just isn't there. But the difference between Joel and Kawhi is that when Kawhi was peaking, he was like winning championships and having all-time playoff runs, right? Whereas Joel Embiid was having these peak regular seasons that Kawhi has never seen the heights of, not even close. But Kawhi's playoff resume in a short amount of time is very, very impressive, and just the level in which he played at, and that 19 run, the level he was playing at in that 17 run before Zaza Pachulia and that dirty Golden State Warriors teams, do what they do and hurt Kawhi Leonard in that series. So yeah, man, one of the greatest playoff performers of his era for sure. That gets him on the list. Obviously, two-time champ, one of the greatest defensive wings ever. He has a case of being the greatest defensive wing ever. He still made the All NBA team 6 times, 7-time All Defensive, 6-time All Star. And one of the greatest playoff players ever, one of the greatest mid-range shooters ever, one of the greatest shooters ever, period, actually. So I'm going to stand on that too. These scores get underrated as shooters, in my opinion, because they don't stand still shoot like these other people. But, he's having runs where he's shooting like over 50% from mid range, about 40% from three, around 90% from the free throw line. So great scorer, great defender, pure definition of two-way player. This Kawhi Leonard, man. John Havlicek. I've seen a few John games. He was cool. Resume wise, I mean, he deserves the spot. 8-time champ, 13-time All Star, 11-time All NBA, 8-time All D. You know what I'm saying? Resume, sure. player for player, he's not better than a lot of these people. But I get it. Resume, it's a greatest list, so I can understand. But then again, like if we're going off resume, then he should also be ranked higher than Chris Paul. So that is kind of inconsistent. You see what I'm saying? But we move. 30, Chris Paul. I would probably have Chris Paul 30-ish, probably. Damn, Chris Paul always had this that neck pause. Chris Paul looked like the nigga that got arrested that one time and they got down. Y'all know what I'm talking about? Yeah, wide neck. Yeah. That nigga look like he tackled niggas for a living. But no, Chris Paul, one of the five greatest point guards ever, in my opinion. I mean, there's really nothing he couldn't do that you would want from a point guard. He was a great defender, great passer, really good in pick and roll, could make shots out of pick and roll if your big is in drop. Those get into that elbow on both sides. He was hitting that nonstop. Good 3-point shooter, a really good passer, could make all the reads, could make all the passes, could make skip passes, could make lob passes. I I mean shit. There ain't really too much he could do. I do think that the problem with him throughout his career is obviously just got hurt at the most inopportune times, man. In plenty of playoff series, me personally, I do believe in 18. If he doesn't go down, their Rockets team has a legit shot of beating the Warriors in that series. But just unfortunate injuries at unfortunate times, man. But still one of the five best point guards ever, and he's retiring this year. So nothing but respect towards Chris Paul, man. All time great player. He's better than John Stockton. Yeah. But respect to John, though. John played a long time, and he was really good for a very long time. So shout out to him. Next player, Scottie Pippen at 28. Scottie Pippen's better than James Harden. Scottie Pippen is better than Anthony Davis. He's better than Chris Paul. Wowzers. I'm high on Scottie too, which is the thing. I'm actually somebody who is higher than most on Scottie Pippen, but 28 is a tad bit high, man. But I said that Kawhi Leonard is in the conversation for best defensive wing ever. To me, this is the person who he's in the conversation with. Scottie Pippen is one of the greatest defenders ever. Could basically guard 1 through 4. Could pick up full, could guard in the post, was great in the passing lanes, could offer rim protection, was a really good passer, really good athlete in transition, play finishing wise. The one thing he did just kind of lack is just half court scoring ability. That was always up and down for Scottie Pippen. Not a great jump shooter either. But as far as just overall game, like very, very impactful player. So shout out to Scotty. Again, 28 is a bit high to me personally, but shout out to Scotty. This is high. 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 We're gonna get to that. I'm sorry, I'll pause. Is this real? Yeah, this is gonna be a whole video. That's our next video right there. We're gonna have to find that clip where Jeff Teague says this. Is it was said on this podcast? Yeah, we're gonna have to talk about that. And then somebody pull up the KG clip where he said he on that new Balco, he on that new juice. Let's might find that clip. 27, Isaiah Thomas. I get it. He won 2 championships. He won rings in the Bird, Magic, Jordan era. For me, he's just player for player. He's not better than Chris Paul. I'm sorry. He's not better than James Harden. He's not better than Anthony Davis. But I get it. This isn't just a better list. This is, I get it. I get it. I get it. Let me give him some compliments though. You know what I'm saying? One of the greatest handles ever. I think he was a good shooter. I know people have some problem with his like shot selection, which is fair. But to me, he's still a really good shooter, really good ball handler, very good passer too. By the way, elite passer actually, I would say. So yeah, I mean, as far as what you want out of your point guard, definitely gives it to. Now he's not the defender Chris Paul is, but at that time he wasn't a negative either. Being 6 foot at that time wasn't the biggest deal in the world. Being a point guard, so yeah, man, great player. Elgin Baylor at 26. Not mad at it. Not mad at it. Not mad at it. 10-time All NBA, 11-time All Star. Never won a championship. I think he retired just before the Lakers captured one with Wilt and Jerry West. But one of the best scoring small forwards ever. Kind of was a revolutionary as far as just one of those wings that did a little bit of everything. Again, we have little bits and pieces of players, and then we get like the best version, right? So he's on course to give us a LeBron James type player, right? Obviously, LeBron's way better, but I'm saying just that evolution of the four doing multiple things, rebounding, taking it off the glass, and taking it full court in the end. Had a little could pass a little bit. So, a revolutionary and a pioneer. Shout out to Elgin Baylor. 25, Charles Barkley. Yeah, no. James Harden is better than him. AD is better than him. I don't have to keep saying that, the whole time, but I just want it to be known. I do think those players are better. So Chris Paul's better than him. But he did lead the team to the finals. If you go look at Charles Barkley, does low key have some very impressive true shooting years. Efficient score. He did spend 8 seconds backing you down, and he's the reason why we have a 5 second rule now. But hey, he took advantage of the time of the rules at the time, and he was an elite scorer of the basketball. You know what I'm saying? What they call him, the round mound of rebound. You know what I'm saying? Wasn't a two-way player, but I will say this: probably one of not probably he is one of the best offensive bigs ever. So shout out to Charles Barkley. He definitely was that and led a team to the finals and was an elite player for quite some time. Giannis at 24. To me, this is low. To me, this is low. Yeah, this is low. Giannis is one of the he's definitively at this point to me one of the 20 best players ever. Resume is impeccable, champion, two-time MVP, one-time Finals MVP, Defensive Player of the Year, eight-time All NBA, nine-time All Star, five-time All Defense. He's been averaging 30 and 12 on 60+% shooting the last 2, 3 seasons. This is an amazing player. I'm the fact that I have to like me saying he's the best in the world get such pushback is actually crazy in my opinion. I'm not mad if you have Jokic or Shea or whatever player that you have, but nobody should be getting upset if somebody says that Giannis Antetokounmpo is the best player in the league. I just won't agree with you on that. Yeah. And then in that 2021 championship, that final series, he was absolutely fantastic. One of the best final performances we've seen in quite some time, actually. Especially if we're saying non-Bron finals performances. That's up there, up there. Shout out to Giannis, man. This is too low. See, I love Dwayne Wade. Absolutely love D Wade. But for a career, Giannis is stacked up enough as for a career to be ranked over Dwayne Wade. However, let me talk about my second favorite player ever. D Wade is my second favorite player of all time. D Wade was an amazing basketball player. I know he didn't have too many prime peak years, dealt with a lot of injury, but when he was on the court, we're talking about a guy that lived in the paint. You could not keep him outside of the paint. One of the best and quickest first steps ever. One of the best defensive guards ever, in my opinion, when he was peaking. Very good passer and playmaker as well. Probably the best shot blocking guard I've ever seen in my lifetime. Great transition player. Just fantastic, man. I'm very high on Dwayne Wade. I know a lot. I say it all the time. If he's strung together some more years, I would have Dwayne Wade in my top 10. Like, that's how high on Dwayne Wade I am personally. I just think him as a complete player, there haven't been many better that I've seen, honestly. So shout out to Dwayne Wade. But again, as far as like a career accolade and achievement standpoint, I do think that Giannis deserves to be over him as far as on a list. Karl Malone at 22. See, I have Giannis better than Karl too. Karl Malone, however, was good for a very, 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 very long time. So that longevity probably puts him over the edge right now scored a lot of points. I think he's what third all time in scoring. Was a really good defensive player too in his prime or peak. Two MVPs. Like he's obviously an all time great player, but I do have Giannis peaking out a little bit higher than Karl Malone. But I get it if you're talking about the longevity. I mean, 14-time All NBA is very impressive. I can't even lie. Moses Malone, yeah, Giannis is better than him. Great rebounder, won a championship. Dr. J, if we're not talking about the ABA, Giannis is also better than him as well. If we're not including the ABA, Giannis is better. But they are, because I do see 3-time ABA MVP. So fairs, I guess. Even including. I'm sorry, I got Giannis. I got Giannis better than Dr. J. Me personally. One of the pioneers for the sport, though. Let me be clear. One of the pioneers for the sport. Carried himself very well. Just was a good face of the league for when he was for the ABA. Brought a lot of eyes to the sport of basketball. He's one of the more important players ever for the game in the advancement of the game and popularity. So he definitely deserves the respect for that. In the ABA, he was one of them ones for sure. 2-time ABA champion, 3-time MVP over there. Nasty, real talk, Coach. That's what I just said. What are you talking about, nasty? Now once he gets to the NBA, I do think he was just maybe he had declined as a player a little bit. I've seen some Dr. J games. In my opinion, he wasn't the most skillful of player, but still great nonetheless. Let me see. Next we have 19 is pretty high for Dave. 19 is pretty high. 8-time all defense, 10-time all NBA. Very impressive career David Robinson did have, though. I'm not gonna lie. He stacked up on the accolades when he got to the league. And mind you, he had to get to the league older because he was in the military. What he got to the league at like 26? 24? 24. So getting to the league at 24, still being 10-time all NBA, 10-time all star, 8-time all defense. I mean, that's being like a good player into your mid 30s, which is very impressive. 2-time champion. He won an MVP, scoring title. One of the greatest defenders ever as well. One of the first bigs originally too to kind of play consistently, basically with a face-up game. Is this real talk version of the top 100? Not a version. I'm just looking over it. I'm just looking over it for real. Too high though. I do think I would have Giannis over him as well. Personally, probably Carl too. That may be it though. To be fair, 18 we got Dirk. Dirk is one of the best scorers of all time. Could do it from everywhere on the court. Unstoppable mid-range game. Was going to shoot high 80s to 90% from the line. Was going to shoot around 40% from three. In his younger days, he could move in his young days. Transitioned into more of that mid-post area where we see he developed the signature one-legged fadeaway that was unguardable. Led a team to a championship. One of the greatest playoff runs ever. Beat Kobe. Beat KD, Russ. Beat LeBron and Wade and Bosh. So was really good for a very long time as well. Understandable. I don't know if I would have him 18. I probably also have Giannis over him too, honestly. But I'm not mad. I'm not terribly mad at Dirk at 18. Nikola of Jokic at 17. Um Great player. 16, we have Kevin Garnett. Now, Kevin Garnett, one of the greatest defensive players we've ever seen. Some saying too high, possibly. I do have Giannis over KG as well, so I don't know if that's a hot take. I think Giannis has surpassed KG at this point. However, 16 is not the worst of spots. I probably have him more closer to like 18, 19, 20. So, just a few spots off. But overall, again, one of the greatest defensive players ever. You could argue he's the most versatile defender ever. Got to the Celtics in '08, won the chip, won the MVP in what '04. Played in some on some bad teams over there in Minnesota, so didn't have the greatest of playoff success before he got to Boston. But as soon as he got to Boston, we saw the immediate impact that he could have on a really good roster, and they won a championship. Some say they would have won another championship in '09 if he didn't go down there. So yeah, one of the greatest players of all time. Shout out to Kevin Garnett, man. Jerry West. This is my favorite watch as far as old players because Jerry West could play today. Jerry West could play today. Jerry West was cold, man. I'm trying to tell y'all, man. Jerry West had a handle, one of the better pull-up shooters ever, one of the better scorers ever, was a playoff demon. Hey, good athlete. Jerry West, one of them ones. I'm not mad at all at Jerry West at 15. In fact, the more and more I watch another Laker, he may be better than him. But we'll continue. 14, we got Big O. I think Jerry West is better than Oscar Robertson, personally. That's personally. But Big O, obviously, big respect to the Big O. You know what I'm saying? Average a triple double basically for a 4 or 5 year stretch. One of the better heliocentric players ever. Was kind of the original ideas of a heliocentric player, right? Led the league in scoring and assists at the same time. One year in the 60s, I believe. Won a championship with Kareem and on the Bucks. Obviously one of the better rebounding guards of all time. Could pass, could really score the ball as well. I just don't think he was as good of a jump shooter as Jerry West personally. But also just them two kind of changed the landscape of guard play around that time as well. Because if y'all remember, prior to these players, like guards were shooting and it was deemed okay for them to shoot like 38, 39% from the field. And then you have players like Jerry West and Big O coming to the league, and they're hovering around 50%. So, shout out to them, revolutionary for the game. Shout out to Big O. 13, we have Kevin Wayne. Kevin Wayne. Kevin Wayne is one of the better basketball players I've ever seen in my life, personally. The more and more I think about it, Kevin Durant would probably end up in my top 10, around 10. I'm thinking about moving him past Magic. I know for a career that wouldn't necessarily make sense, but player for player, he's better than him. And he's putting together enough years to where it's like, you know what, it makes sense. It just makes sense. And at some point, I have to stop telling my eyes that they're lying to me. I know we get into this debate about do you do the better or greater? I get it. But at some point, when I just know a player is better, then I just got to rank them better. It just gets to a point. I got to rank them better, especially if they have the years. You know what I'm saying? He has the longevity. He has the peak. He has the accolades. He has championships, whether y'all like it or not. So, I look. Kevin Durant's a top 10 player ever. We have not seen 10 players better at the sport than Kevin Wayne. We have. We have not. One of the greatest scorers ever. You could argue he's the greatest scorer ever because couldn't do it from all over the court, any kind of way, transition, pull up game, off the dribble, post up, mid post, nail, free throw line. He's high 80s, 90%, 40% 3-point shooter. Could do it off of down screens and pin downs. He could do it in transition trailing. He finish at the basket, 7 feet tall, can shoot over everybody. In his prime and in his peak, he's moving like a guard. We haven't seen 10 players better than this man. We haven't. And I think we all know that too. In fact, that's why I think people shit on him. Because they think he's too good to not have accomplished some more. That's really what I think it is. He's one of the 10 greatest, for sure. Hakeem is outside of the top 10. Good Lord, this list is boo-boo. Yeah, throw this whole list away. Yeah, throw this entire list out. Throw it out. Throw this list away. There are not 11 basketball players better than Hakeem? Better than Hakeem. Wait, Clifford. No, I'm making a video. Goodness gracious. Hakeem Olajuwon is edit that out, editor. Hakeem Olajuwon is obviously one of the 10 greatest basketball players ever. And to me, top 5. I have Hakeem at number 4. I think Hakeem is the greatest center ever. I think he has an argument for the best defensive player ever. And time again in playoff settings when he matched up with these other all-time great centers, because he did get to play a hand few of them in his time. He outplayed them. He won 2 championships with arguably some of the weakest championship rosters. Especially if you compare it to the other centers, like a Kareem who was with Magic, right? Kareem's with Worthy. Shaq obviously has Kobe. Then he gets Wade. Hakeem got right right at the end of his prime, Clyde, and another one without really another second star on the team. One of the best playoff performers ever. Outplayed Kareem in '86 when he got to the what was that? When they beat the Lakers with Ralph Sampson as his other front court duo. Wash Kareem. Okay, buddy. Who was Kareem beating up on in the '70s? And then obviously, yes, this his scoring prowess as a big, you know what I'm saying, the footwork, the agility, the quickness. Wait a minute, it just took me. See, it knew I was finna just out. It knew I was finna. At this point, I don't care anymore. You people rank Kobe wherever the fuck you want to rank him. How about that? Okay. But when I start disrespecting some of y'all faves, just keep that same energy. Just leave me alone. I'm gonna leave y'all alone. You think Kobe at number 8, cool, whatever. I mean Kobe number 11, cool, whatever. You just don't know ball. You don't know the sport. You just don't know the sport. Cool. I'm not gonna keep arguing with you. Kobe at 11. Boy, oh boy, I tell you the truth. Oh man, 10 players all time better than Kobe Bryant. It just gets to a point like, what more do you want the man to do? What do you want him to do? You're mad that he was on the same team as Shaq. You're mad. Is that his fault? Is that his fault? Also, go look at the numbers. '08 to 10 Kobe is dead better than Michael Jordan's second three-peat. Go look at the numbers. I'm not lying to you. I'm not lying to you. Go look at the numbers. Kobe Bryant was a better playoff player than what was that? 96 to 98 Jordan. Go look at it. You're not saying it on the pen. Yes, I would. What are you talking about? Kobe at 11 though, man. To me, the greatest. This is the greatest all-around basketball player I've ever seen in my life. Could guard, could handle the ball, left hand, right hand finishes, post up work, mid post, off ball, coming off screens, ISO work, handle was there, could dunk on you, could finish around you, had good touch, had floater shots with either hand, could. I don't know. I don't know what you're looking at, bro. When people are telling me Kobe's not one, I just don't know what you're looking at. I don't know. I don't know what they're looking. I just the man could do everything on the basketball court. Whatever. And at 10, we have Steph of Curry. I'm so sure. I'm so sure. I'm so sure he's better than Kobe. I'm so sure. But I love Steph though. Love Steph. He's just not better than Kobe. But he is in my top 10 though. But he's not better than Kobe. Just absolutely not better than Kobe. Greatest shooter ever. Changed the game. Changed how defenses have to play. One of the greatest offensive seasons ever. Shout out to Steph, man. Tyson, what are you talking about? Shout out to Will Chamberlain. Larry of Bird at 8. I'm so sure he's better than Kobe. I just want I just want people like, are people watching these games that make these lists? We're just going off of like stats or something. I don't know. There's no way you're watching the game and you're telling me Larry Bird is better than Kobe. There's no way you're watching Wilt Chamberlain finger roll over 6'4" people and telling me he's better than Kobe. There's no way you're watching Steph never guard his position and say he's better than Kobe. I don't understand. I just don't get it. I don't get it, man. I don't get it, man. Wilt had to go hop on Jerry West's team to go win another ring. Wilt was getting dominated. I'm talking about back bent over by Bill Russell. Wilt, when he was putting up all them numbers, it wasn't conducive to winning. But hey, yeah, Tyson, that's how you should do it because it's called evolution, my brother. I'm not gonna let this relative. Hey, all that relative to era BS. I'm done with that. Because once you actually flush out that thought process, it's dumb. Why would I give another? It does nothing but penalize the more recent players. That's all it does. Why would I be? Oh, you didn't dominate this era like Wilt did when it was 8 teams. So I have to say Wilt's better. That's dumb. That is dumb logic. That's dumb thinking. Kobe didn't dominate in the 2000s. Yeah, he was playing with Tim Duncan was there and Shaq and later on LeBron. What? Yeah, I'm sorry. He wasn't running over the fuck are we talking about? Yeah, I'm done with relative to era. I'm done with it. If you're better, you're better. If you're not, you're not. Y'all see, I was very high on Jerry West. If you're good, you're good. If you're not, you're not. Period. I don't care. I'm done with that. KD is better than Will. Sorry. Get mad at me. Hey, shit. Get mad at evolution. Don't get mad at me. Will winning MVPs in a league with a you couldn't even have top 10 finishes in MVP because it wasn't 10 teams yet. It was just top 7 finishes. Like, what are we doing? Shout out to Wilt, though. Major numbers on and off the court. 8 Larry Bird, 3-time MVP, 3-time champ, played on the super team, doesn't get penalized for it, didn't win another championship till another All-Star and Dennis Johnson got over there. But hey, who cares? Because Kobe played with Shaq. So, cool. Whatever. He's also better than Kobe at number 8. Got it. No troll though. Larry Bird is a phenomenal player. I'm not. Let me calm down. Larry Bird is a phenomenal player. One of the better overall players or all around players we've seen in NBA history. Really good scorer. Really good rebounder. Really great passer. To me, he's better than Magic Johnson. Honestly. And he's not on the list yet. So I know they've made that wrong listing. So yeah, I think he's the only guy in NBA history that's averaging 24, 10, and 6 also. He's the only one in NBA history averaging that for a career. So yeah, shout out to Larry Bird. That's true. Next up, we got Tim Duncan. I'm not mad at Tim at 7. I'm really not. Yeah, I'm not mad at that. Where is Tim on my list now? I'm thinking about it. He's around like 6 or 7. So this is yeah. One of the all-time great players of the 2000s. That 2000s era is ridiculous. 5-time champion, 2-time MVP, 3-time final MVP. He was really good for a really long time. 15-time All NBA, 15-time All Star, 15-time All Defense. And the more Tim Duncan I watch, especially early on Tim Duncan, the more impressed I am. Like we just watched that '99 series against the Lakers. He was the best player on the court, in my opinion, and that was against Shaq. So yeah, Tim Duncan one of them ones for real. Didn't look it, but he was clearly very strong player, right? He kind of looks like slender looking, but he like stonewalled Shaq a few times. Didn't let him just back him completely down into the basket. Very quick too in his younger age. Light of foot, good footwork on the post. Had a little mid range game. Could pass the ball. Tim Duncan's a really good offensive player. I think that gets kind of slept on a little bit. Shaq at 6. I think peak for peak, Shaq is as good as anybody that's ever graced the court. Most dominant player in the modern day era for sure. 4-time champ, MVP, 3-time final MVP. We know all the statistics. 15-time All Star, 14-time All NBA. Slept on longevity. But when everybody thinks of Shaq, everybody thinks of 2000 to 2002. That 3-year peak was just incredible. Great two-way player, great rim protector, and just a dominant force. Just an incredible specimen of athlete, bro. It just dominant, man. It's crazy, bro. Nobody should be that tall, that big, that strong, moving that fast and that quickly. That explosive. Had a good second jump too. Like it peak for peak. Like I said, he's as good as anybody that's played the sport. So shout out to Shaq, man. 5, Bill Russell. Salute to a pioneer of the league and major respect and rest in power to Bill Russell. 4, Magic of Johnson. YouTube, again, make sure you check that description, hit that link below. to the playback room because we've been watching a lot of Magic Johnson lately, and this is just too high. Magic Johnson is not one of the four best players to ever touch a basketball. I'm just telling you that straight. I'm just being honest with you. I'm just being honest with you. I'm just being honest. I'm just being honest. Top 10-ish, sure. Top four, no. He's not better than Hakeem Olajuwon. Not even like remotely close, actually. Respect. He's not better than Kobe. He's not better than Steph. He's not better than Bird. He's not better than Tim Duncan. Great transition player. I didn't. He's not better than Kevin Wayne either. I agree. Great transition player. Probably the greatest, the best passer ever. I will give that to him. As the years went on, developed as a scorer. Had a little back to the basket game. Had a baby hook. Could get to the free throw line. We know what that means. He was grifting in the '90s, but we're not going to talk about the late '80s. We're not going to talk about it. Obviously a winner, five-time champion. Another player who played on a super team that doesn't get penalized, but Kobe played with Shaq. So yeah, shout out to Magic Johnson. 3, Kareem Abdul-Jabbar. Like 3 and 4 played together, and nobody gives a damn. Kareem though, Kareem, as far as a resume basis, I do think he's in the GOAT conversation. So I'm not mad at him at 3. He would have been my third player ever personally. But from a resume aspect, I mean, he's a 6-time champ, 6-time MVP, 15-time All NBA, 19-time All Star, 11-time All Defense, 2 scoring titles. He was the best player hands down in the '70s. Led the had the scored the most points ever up until LeBron just broke that record. Played 20 years. Like from a resume aspect, he deserves the third spot. I mean, from a resume standpoint, could arguably have a better resume than 1 or 2, but 1 and 2, we know who they are. Just don't really know the order yet. But obviously, Mike and LeBron, who they have too. They have LeBron James. LeBron to me at this point is just he's put together too long of a career to not be number one. Honestly, I don't know. I actually agree with that. I've been saying that for a long time too. I don't know how he's not at this point if you value any kind of longevity. Do y'all see this, bro? The man is a 21-time All NBA player. I mean, that's ridiculous. That's ridiculous. He was an MVP level player by what? His third year in the league and didn't stop being an MVP level player until, yeah, we'll say 21. Because 2020, he was still an MVP level player. So we're talking about from like 05, 06 to 2020. So 15 years of being an MVP level player. And a lot of those years, he was the best player in the league. Hands down, the best player in the league. So I don't know how he's not the GOAT. He has the most points. I mean, shit. I don't know. I don't know. I don't know. Most playoff points. He's top 5 in assists. He has the most points, period. He's going to finish. I don't know. I don't know. He has 4 rings. He has 4 finals MVPs. He has 4 MVPs. But hey, he didn't get to play John Stockton in the finals, so I guess he sucks. I don't know. Yep, he played Dirk and yeah, Dirk's better than John Stockton. So yeah, he played KD and lost. Yeah, when he was playing with Steph Curry and Draymond Green and Klay Thompson and what? And he okay that Heat team in 20. I mean, sure, but the consensus was that we were going to beat that team anyway. But I mean, I guess. Not only can I argue that LeBron has more longevity than Michael Jordan, I could just argue he's just a better player. We were doing that video with Lowe not too long, and Lowe straight up told me, and this is what I couldn't understand. Lowe told me, I asked him, who was the better offensive player at their peak? He said LeBron. I asked him, who's the better defensive player at their best? He said LeBron. I asked him, who's had better longevity? He said LeBron. But his whole argument was because at their best, Michael's 3 years of being better offensively and defensively, or being around the peak for both, is enough to be better than LeBron for 21 seasons. That don't make sense to me. I'm sorry. That doesn't make sense to me. LeBron James is the greatest basketball player ever. We just need to accept it. I don't. At this point, you're just being hard headed and stubborn. But hey, here we have Michael Jordan, 6-time champion, 5-time MVP, 6-time Finals MVP, 11-time All NBA, 14-time All Star, 9-time All Defense, Defensive Player of the Year, NBA Rookie of the Year, 10 scoring titles, and arguably the greatest scorer ever. One of, if not the best playoff performer ever, alongside the other guy that we just saw, LeBron James. As far as most, see, this is why I think Jordan continues to get the nod for great, because I do think Michael Jordan is the most pivotal basketball player ever. I do think that, like, as far as the elevation of the game, he's the most pivotal ever. I do understand that. So if you want to mix that up with just how good he was as a player to begin with, I can get it. I get it. The 6-0, he's never lost in the finals. In fact, the finals never even went to Game 7. He's not 6-0 in his career though, which a lot of his fans make the mistake of, right? Because he got beat a lot in the playoffs. Just want to make sure that we know that he got beat a lot in the playoffs. But I'm not. I mean, if you have Jordan as your GOAT, I get it. He grades out as far as peak for peak. His peak is grades out a tad higher in each like little category against LeBron. But when I say a tad, I do mean a tad. So you're going to take that tad difference in their peak over the what? Michael Jordan was a 11-time All NBA player. So after next year, I just want us to really realize after next year, LeBron would have doubled him. After next year, he would have doubled Michael Jordan as being an All NBA level player. But hey, 6-0, huh? I guess. I guess. Y'all got it. I guess. Man, you beat Clyde Drexler. So, you know. Woohoo. But yeah, that is the conclusion of us going through the list. Terrible list, by the way. I do want to look into the camera and say that we got through it. I kept it lighthearted. I hope you had a good time skimming through the list with me. You know what I'm saying? Again, like, comment, share, subscribe. Check the description. Join my playback room. Also, check the description and follow me on Twitter. And make sure that you follow me on TikTok as well. And again, make sure you hit that playback link because we will be watching old games and watching these old players and making sure that they're as good as they tell us. So far, they're not. Well, actually, one isn't. The one isn't. Hakeem is. Michael Jordan, if you have him like 2 or 3 all time, he's that good too. So I don't want to get it misconstrued like none of the old players are good. But come check it out with us. And until next time, it's been real.